Hello garden friends and happy spring. Welcome to Garden Obsessions, and spring has arrived. Super happy, and I just wanted to go ahead and welcome spring with a spring container. And also because I've been trying to find a reason to bring in a beautiful plant that I just learned about it maybe about 3-4 years ago, which is the Hellebore. Last year we brought into the garden Hellebores. I don't think I did a video on them. This will be the first video ever. And we went ahead and added about, I'm going to say 3 or 4. And I'm going to show you which ones we have right now. This one right here is Penny's Pink. A darker color, so pretty. And then this one's Glenda Gloss. She's just gorgeous. Look at those pink colors. And then this is Miss Molly's White. And if Ambrose can show, there's one more over there. And reason why some are looking very bare, I do still have them in their regular containers, nursery containers. Did not plant them or do anything to them. I wish I could have planted them in the ground. Didn't get to do that. I can't really do it here in our temporary garden, so I will be keeping them in those containers. That's not who I'm planting right now, though. We ended up adding 2 more of these beauties, the Hellebores. But I did wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about them. So why are they so bare? Some of them are very bare, and some are starting to shoot out a lot of leaves. Like this one right here, I actually left it pretty much like these, and I took off their leaves. They had them really badly tattered. And the reason I think it was for them to look like that was because it rained so much around here, and I think they just started to look really bad. So I went ahead and clipped those ugly leaves. And one thing that I started to notice was like, well, what am I going to do now? What am I doing now the second year that I actually, have to take care of what's the care for the Hellebore? So that's why I'm doing the video today. And hopefully I can answer a little bit of those questions. I'm no Hellebore expert, no Hellebore whisperer, but just whatever I had to go ahead and learn. So before we get with the planting, I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit of it. So yes, I cut back the leaves, and you can do that. You can clean the leaves off in fall so they can prepare them for the new, when they're going to start pushing out new growth. Another thing is, once they are done blooming, you can go ahead and just deadhead them or let them go into seed. But most of these are new. They're new varieties. They're breeds, hybrid breeds. So you really won't get the same flower. And another big question that I get a lot is the lighting. So we are in 7B. So Hellebores are shade-loving plants, but at the same time, it's not okay that they're in a very deep shade. I'm in the north side of the home, of the garden. Here you get full morning light. And I think if you have especially a deciduous tree, just like this maple tree that we have up here, all through the cold months, the winter months, and in spring, there's plenty of light coming in, so they get all the sun they need, so they can, go ahead and produce those beautiful flowers for us. So that's like a perfect, area, especially if you live in southern places where the climates are very much hotter. So once spring, the cool weather is done, there's protection from the harsh sun rays that do come in, and they won't get scorched. Another question that I got asked a lot was, why aren't my Hellebores blooming? That can be because either they're new plants that just got established, or 2, they can be root bound. They've been probably, sat in the nursery in the same containers for a while, and they're probably root bound, and that can be also very bad for them. You can lose a Hellebore like that. That's why I'm in a rush to get these planted later on after I do this video. But I will be keeping them in the pots. Another reason could be that they have been forced into bloom, meaning that always try to remember when was the last time you saw your hellebore blooming? Did you buy it already blooming? And what time of year did you buy it? Sometimes we can find these plants in fall or, in summer in the nurseries. And if they're blooming, they've been forced, so they have to get used to catch up on the regular time of bloom, which is in winter or spring. I hear a lot of people tell me that they love to see them blooming in winter when it's snowing, and I think most of those the people that tell me that live in climates are a little warmer, I'm gonna say, because then I have some of you that have told me that it snows and you do not get to see any of that blooms at all. And what the research I have done is that you get to start seeing the hellebores blooming around in cooler climates around this time of year, which is late winter or spring. And in warmer climates, you do get to start seeing them a little earlier, like in winter. So a lot of them are hardy zones 4 through 8 or 9. That's what I've been, noticing when I research over them. The ones that we are going to plant, I think, are hardy, down to hardy 5. I'll go ahead and check. Fertilizing, do they need to be fertilized? No, they really don't need to be fertilized. That's something that I kept on seeing a lot. They don't need to fertilize. These were not fertilized, and they just, you can see they're going crazy blooming. I did go ahead and fertilize them this as soon as spring came in. I fertilized them with the Spoma Bloom liquid fertilizer. It's very gentle on them, and it's organic, so for any reason they do need it, I already gave them a shot of that. So let's go ahead and go down there and get with the planting. I wish I could show you more of this area, which everything's starting to come into, sprouting out of everywhere. And pretty soon we'll go ahead and do a video on that so y'all can see all the nice things that are starting to bloom for us. Like down here, you can tell that spring has arrived, and we have the little daffodils that Ambrose planted, that we planted when we first arrived here, actually. Okay, so here's this gorgeous, gorgeous hellebore. This is one of the same hellebores of the 2 that I have up there, Molly's White. I had to go with Molly's White again. I've been looking for other ones, but I can't really find them in other varieties. Or if I do, I find them very small. Now, I couldn't pass to get this one. One thing about Hellebores is that a lot of you have asked me too and told me, why are they so expensive? When I first bought the Hellebores, I thought, well, they're perennial and they're evergreen. Those leaves are gorgeous. If you can see this one right here, Ambrose can take a close-up of the leaf. This one changes into a little bit of a silver color with time. It's just gorgeous leaves. And, once I'm done with the Hellebores, how I have them in containers, I go ahead and squeeze them into the rest of the garden. We have a real small garden, so I use the greenery to fill in other areas of the garden with. But the big reason why they're so expensive is because when they're first newly plants, they don't bloom. It takes them 2 to 3 years to come into bloom. So that, they don't bring them out of wherever they have them in the nursery, wherever, it is, until then. So it takes a while for them to bloom. And I came into that because I was researching to get seeds from them because I wanted other varieties. It's hard to come by some other colors. I haven't really seen them here in yellows or deeper, almost black colors, So that's why. So I think it's pretty worth it to go ahead and buy something as gorgeous as this. And plus, they're the first plants to start blooming, some of the first plants and pollinators. Oh my goodness, I start to see the little bees, the first bees in spring. They go crazy over them. Well, I'm going to go ahead and have Ambrose join us. He's had a pretty crazy rough 2 weeks. He's been out in the range for 2 weeks, and he's finally going to go ahead and get back into the garden with me and enjoy a little bit of this. Okay. As Ambrose is setting up the camera, I'm going to go ahead and show you what we are planting along with the Hellebores. So everything that we picked, I'm going to somehow use in this garden. after the spring container is done. So I was careful to pick plants that I know are going to go back to the garden, just, mix in well with the garden. We use a lot of heuchera. So I brought this one from Proving Winners, Primal Wild Rose. Beautiful. I think that would go very pretty with some of the rosy color that it has, the Hellebore has on the flowers there. And then a Japanese fern, Vinca. This one's a variegated Vinca vine. We use this a lot in our garden, just like I use ivy in containers. I know it can be very invasive. I'm very careful with it. I trim it all the time, make sure it's nice and tidy. But the reason I love it is because just like the heuchera, this Interstone 7B in Virginia always all year long gives some interest. So these are the plants we will be using. So Ambrose has joined us. And how are you feeling?
Very, very tired, but excited to get this this planting done because it's been a couple days since we planned to do this one, and just now getting around to it. And now that the weather's actually doing great, it's pretty exciting to start getting some stuff in the ground or in the containers.
In the containers, the first spring plantings. This is actually not our first planting for spring, though.
Which one?
You remember? We put some other plants, perennials, in the ground already. Like what?
Oh,
maybe
yes.
A week ago.
Yeah, we put some perennials in the ground on the side of the house, which we're very excited to see come up.
We'll for sure show you guys all that. We'll take a little walk, and oh boy, what I was talking about, these plants being root bound. I think we have one here like that. How's yours doing?
I think it's pretty much the same.
Yeah. So more than ever makes me want to just pot out the ones I've had since last year. For sure. It's root bound. Okay, so how is yours looking? Because mine is pretty root bound.
Mine's pretty bad too.
Okay, so we need to just really tickle them good, but not hurt them either.
Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm actually just loosening the soil and not really trying to touch the roots too much to bother them too much.
Yeah, I don't want to start tearing.
And like Angie was saying, is these guys are grown from seed to this full-size plant, and it takes a matter of 2 to 3 years to get them to bloom. So you can imagine how long they've been in a certain container.
Yes. So when you plant them, another thing to remember, especially if they're going in the ground, you have to make sure that the crown, that they're not planted in too deep, because they can get, they can rot from, root rot. And make sure that you planted, they love moist soil, but make sure that it's a place either in the ground that is very, what do they call it? Loamy soil.
Yep.
Make sure that it's going to drain really well. And in containers, of course, you need to make sure that the container has holes on the bottom. These won't be in here for too long. Once we start getting all our Proving Winner plants, can't wait for those. Okay, so we were just wondering right now, we might have to take them, I don't know, apart, because I'm trying to see if the fern, where to put the fern. Ambrose wanted the fern towards the inside, right?
Yes, but I think we're going to go with the outside for now to see what it looks like.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put it in there so you can see what it looks like before you do it.
Okay.
You can go ahead and do the heuchera if you want to.
Right in the front of here?
Yeah. Yeah, probably right here. Can you see me right here? So you can...
Towards this edge?
Yeah. We already added the biotone too. But like I said, we won't have them in here long. It's just for some what is it called? Some pretty for spring,
yep.
Early spring. And like I was saying, I was just trying to find an excuse to buy some Hellebores. I've been wanting hellebores, more hellebores for the longest time, and
how's that right there?
that's pretty. Now, didn't you find you found some yellow hellebores?
Yep.
They were, what did they look like? You have pictures, right? You can show them.
I think I have some pictures, but they were very tiny. We kind of didn't want to go with those. Want to go with something that has more of an impact, like these guys right here. Absolutely love the way these look, and then the colors is gonna go with it. I think it's gonna,
At night.
It's gonna, yeah, they glow at night. And I think
couldn't stop looking at them the other night. You just sat there.
Oh yeah, yeah. It had some great color to it, and they really glow at night. So really looking forward to seeing what they look like once they're planted. How's that fern looking on that side?
It looks nice. If you want to see it.
No,
I kind of like that instead.
I trust you.
You trust me?
Yep.
With the plants? And can keep clean.
Never.
Never. But we've missed it so much, haven't we?
Yep.
Getting dirt all over ourselves, soil.
Mm-hmm. That hellebore was pretty big on yours.
Yeah, I was gonna say the roots on mine is crazy.
Okay, now where are you putting your vinca at?
Also, the hellebore, not the hellebore, guys, the heuchera. Don't want to plant them in too deep either, because they can.
Yeah, my crown's just a little bit even with the container.
You don't want those roots to rot. Okay, I think that's good. Like I said, they're not going to be in there for a long time. I need to look back. Hold on. The vincas are just going to go towards
this side right here?
Yeah, but mine's not looking that great.
So where do you want my heuchera? Like this?
Yeah, let it like be the side piece.
How's that right there?
That's pretty, baby.
All right, definitely feel like a 5-year-old playing in the dirt again.
You missed it, huh?
Oh yeah.
So I have this moss here called Irish moss, and I just seem to buy it, ask you for it every single spring.
Yeah.
And we have like so much moss back there.
Yep.
We thought we were gonna use it to fill in, but I don't know.
No, I don't think we need it. I think it looks great.
Yeah, so we're happy. So now we're just gonna do a little bit of cleanup, and that way you can see the pots. Okay. All done, and I think this is just a beautiful way to go ahead and say hello spring, welcome spring. We wanted to make sure that the hellebores were the star of the pot, of the container, and went with just a lot of pretty foliage plants. So if I didn't say this before, the tag said for the hellebores hardy zone 5. That's all it said. But yeah, I like it. What do you think? You like it? You love it? He loves it. Okay, so, how have you welcomed in spring? And, like I was saying, sometimes these plants can be a little bit on the pricey side, and if you can go ahead and not care for that, then go ahead and go grab yourself some hellebores. But there's many ways of welcoming in spring. A small pot of violas, a small pot of pansies, or even that moss I showed you, just a huge big bowl of beautiful moss, just to say hi spring. We're waiting for you and so happy that you're here. So like I said, excited to show a lot more, because we are just so ready to get going and show a lot more things and get planting. We have a lot of things coming up back here in the little secret garden of ours, and can't wait. So with this, I'll let you, and I will say goodbye and have a wonderful spring.